this Souls chick thinks she's all slick just because she beat Act 3. Well, we got something for her.
I got this. I beat Act 3, so this little optional boss should be no problem.
Haha, what an idiot.
Dude, this is easy. I haven't been hit much at all.
Not so fast.
This is bullshit. Souls games would never. What is going on, you guys? Erica's for the win here, and here's what I wish I knew sooner after playing 100 hours as a warrior in Path of Exile 2. So that ridiculous boss aside, seriously, what were they thinking with this? Let's start with the big, fat, slow as molasses elephant in the room. Armor is garbage, and it's absolute nasty work the devs made it that way. As a Souls gamer coming into this game, and as one that used so many strength builds over the years, my initial goal was I want a strong big boy that tanks damage in Path of Exile 2. And at first it did seem that Path of Exile 2 had me covered. From the very beginning, the warrior skill tree is divided into two paths. One is for melee damage, and the other is none other than armor. So I immediately went armor first, thinking, well, I want my defenses up, but little did I know it was such a mistake because apparently armor is garbage in this game. I've even researched and found Path of Exile veterans complaining about it and describing the warrior as paper thin when it comes to defense. Which is so ass backwards because if this big boy has to be in close quarters to attack and doesn't benefit from more armor percentage, what are we even doing here? Next thing I know, I'm learning that evasion is better than armor. So yeah, if I could do it all over again, I would just do melee damage from the beginning and not even put points into armor for a while, as silly as that sounds. In fact, I'm confident to say that goes with any class. Just go damage no matter which class you're using. I started a ranger class after running as a warrior, and I've skilled up nothing but projectile damage, and I gotta say, I am zooming through this game. I think if you focus on damage first, it's just easier to realize this game isn't as hard as people make it to be. Seriously, I think if beginner guides just told us, hey, don't fall for the armor bait, and instead just put your initial skill points into damage, you've already saved a bunch of people and made the game easier for them. Another thing I wish I did more of, a lot more of, is using Bone Shatter, the way it's supposed to be used. Now, it tells you that it's going to let you know when enemies are close to being dead, which is nice, and I mostly used it because of that. But it also lets you know that now you can use Bone Shatter to stun them. And literally, I did not use this as much as I should have. Up until Act 3, I just really didn't use it that much, and I really regret that. I mean, really. Especially knowing now that armor wasn't doing me any favors. Yeah, Bone Shatter probably could have helped me out a bit more. Another thing, and this is probably the most embarrassing one of all, is that I wish I invested more in my basic mace attack. And from the very beginning, because my assumption was this thing is weak and boring and I'm just going to focus on my skills, and that's what just completely threw me off. If I could go back, I would say do that sooner. Use that basic mace attack much more often, power that thing up, because that's going to have a lot of DPS in comparison to these other skills. But I was just so fixated on the rolling slam. This is the move that we get at the beginning and we kind of just hang on to, which now looks like the slowest move ever when I watch it. What's so crazy about the rolling slam in my experience is that when I got to Act 3, I finally got this 40% increased attack on this move. But the flip side of it was that it was also going to give me a 10-second cooldown, as if this build wasn't slow enough, right? And I ended up having to put this other skill on top of it where it sped up the cooldown, which did help a lot. Had I not read into that though, that cooldown would still be at 10 seconds right now. Which brings me to my next point, and what I truly wish I did sooner, and that's read. This game is very much gassed up as a very hard game, and it can feel that way. until you read. I know, it sounds crazy, but it's true. And this is coming from somebody whose friends tease her for not reading when I'm streaming or when I'm playing games, because I'm just that chick who picks up an item or something and then I tuck it away for later, and 90% of the time I forget about it. That's just how I am. So whenever I hit a wall in Path of Exile 2 and I felt like my character was just not doing enough damage or dying too easily, I just shut up, stopped complaining, and spent a good amount of time reading everything. Like when it comes to skills, for example, reading all of this and matching this with this. Taking extreme notice of damage and DPS as well. The higher, the better, right? And then also paying attention to my strength, my dexterity, and my intelligence. As a Souls gamer, this should be nothing new. Don't have enough dex? Well, you can't use this one thing. Get your dex up, and then now you can use it. Simple. I mean, when you really break it down, it's simple. It's just presented in a way that can be very intimidating. It's basically a lot of reading and then just putting it into practice. And as with most things, it's just trial and error, and after 100 hours, I got a lot of those errors over with. This game may seem super intimidating, but if you just read what does what and keep your attack power in mind, no matter what class you are, I really do think you'll be alright. And then soon enough, you'll start to realize this game's really not all that bad. And I beat Act 3 as a warrior, arguably the most broken class in the game. And when I say broken, I don't mean in a good way. You hear broken? In Souls terms? That could mean a good thing. Not so much here, okay? This class might be ass, and I just don't really know it yet, and not really worth using. I could be wrong, I don't know. All I know is that I still have a lot to learn, but after my 100 hours or so as this class, I do feel much more versed in this game and able to take on what is next. And I'm actually excited about it because I feel I went through the trials of hard mode as a warrior, and now I can play the other classes with way more ease. But anyways, this is just a quick little video on the warrior class. It's kind of a mix-up of what I would do different, as well as a couple of tips in there for beginners or somebody who's maybe thinking of starting the warrior class. And if you have some kind of Souls-like history and experience, you can maybe see it through my eyes a bit and see, you know, what I've been dealing with and kind of relate a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I got more to come. I do want to do more Path of Exile content, but this is a Souls-like channel. So the fact that I'm able to kind of merge these together, I think is fun. And if you guys enjoy it, definitely let me know. That's it for this video though. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one. All right, bye.